Peace, family. How y'all doing today? Hope everything's well with everyone. But I got a hot topic, I guess. I personally wouldn't call it a hot topic, but it was important enough for somebody to ask me. So I guess I got a hot topic, y'all. And what I was asked is religion good or bad? I did a video yesterday with a guest, and we did this video. I posted it. My guest had second thoughts about the video, so I took it down personally. And so I'm going to do the video myself. That way we can get the information out there. So the question is asked of me: is religion good or bad? And if you know anything about this channel, then you know we have to look at it from as many perspectives as we can and build on that. Okay? So let's look at one perspective of religion. One perspective we can look at is that religion brings people together and gives people something to believe in higher than themselves. It keeps people positive, faithful, and hopeful. No problem. Personally, though, not even personally, factually, but it's still personal, I say fuck religion. I'm going to repeat that. Somebody asks me, is religion good or bad? I am going to reply every single time that it is bad. I have multiple reasons, and we'll get into some of those. Well, King, why do you say religion is bad? Okay, cool. Well, let's look at some of the immediate effects that we can look at least. Religion is one of the biggest division or dividing tools ever used. When the foreigners or the pale-skinned persons came to the lands, they had the Bible, we had the land. When they left, they had the land and we had the Bibles. It's a form of trichonology. It's a book full of mass genocide, pedophilia, and rape. But just on the modern effects, it has divided many peoples. It has brought war to many lands. And the reason this is because all religion as we know it has been twisted and turned and converted to provide a manipulation tool or tactic. And that's very important to understand, that these or the aspect or perspective or concept of religion has been converted and contorted into a negative fashion. The origins is what people need to study. If you practice Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, it doesn't fucking matter. You are ultimately, listen to what I'm saying, family. You are ultimately practicing, even though it's a converted version, you are ultimately practicing African spirituality. What has happened is the pale-skinned foreigner has taken the information, if you will, converted it into a way to present to people that only gives half-truths. And for the most part, the whole entire book itself and religion itself, whatever religion we're speaking, is structured in a way to where you praise or stay in a slave mentality, if you will. When we look at the word religion and we look into the actual roots of the word and the origins of the word and the true definitions, etc. We see that religion means to bind or to be bound. And when we look at religious people, we see that they are mentally, and for the most part spiritually, bound to their belief system. So this has divided the mind, the spirit. This has divided the people. This has divided lands. The book is a rewrite or a plagiarism. If anybody out there has morals and principles, then you don't like liars. And you try not to lie as much as possible, right? So why follow suit behind a book that is full of lies? The book itself is a lie. Anything that doesn't give its due respect and reference to where it came from is putting up a facade for the rest of the people it's in front of. So this book, and I'm talking about whatever book you personally follow through with, is a plagiarism of African spirituality. Anything that divides a people, causes mass wars, murders, and genocides, is not something that anybody should subscribe to. But when my parents and their parents and their parents' parents and so on are constantly fed this, it becomes, just for understanding and concept, it becomes sort of like generational wealth. It gets passed down to generation. Now, if my whole family believes this, and their whole family believes this, and before them believe this, and so on, by the time it comes to me, my whole reality has already been warped by my parents, who instill certain knowledges of self and help me create my reality. My reality is somewhat molded around false beliefs or misinformed beliefs. So I'm going to grow up with those misinformed beliefs and create a misinformed reality and ignorant state of intellect, if you will. And it's going to reflect on my reality. I'm going to become a judgmental person. My religion's better than yours. My God's better than yours, etc., etc. So, King, is religion good or bad? Once again, family, let me say this in a better way. Hopefully, maybe it will make sense to what exactly I'm speaking on. So, is religion good or bad? My answer to that will always be the structure of religion is a piece of shit. The structure of religion is a piece of shit. Religion as a concept isn't as bad. I didn't say it was great. Now come on now. Listen to my words. It isn't as bad. Because I say that because from my understanding, let me say that, from my understanding, religion is put in place to give people hope, faith, and belief, as well as, excuse me, family, as well as keeping people, whoever person just subscribe to this, keeping up people in line in a not necessarily a worker bee mentality, more so a slave mentality, but more so a follower mentality. Because we understand that hope deals with faith. Faith deals with belief. Belief simply means to have faith in something without facts to support it. So, the structure is a piece of shit, but the concept I understand. I don't agree with that because I do not want anybody to believe anything. Why is that? Because to believe means to have faith without factual support behind it. To know is to have the facts behind the information or whatever it is to support it. So I want the family to know, not to believe. So anything that keeps you in a belief state is no good for you either. You should know, not believe. I believe in myself. Fuck no. Know yourself. Religion has done nothing but separate people because it fills certain people with ego. My religion's better than yours, so therefore my lifestyle's better than yours. I am in a superior position that I can judge yours because my God is greater. You're wrong. Bullshit like that. Just bullshit like that, you know? So I would recommend for anybody who is in a religion to get the fuck up out of that religion. Do some self-studying. Do some historical studying. Do some etymological studying. Do all type of studies. And you will expose yourself to something very uncomfortable, but something very necessary. And this is a good topic because, you know, I'm out in the field with it. I've been out in the field with it. I've been breaking down the doors of churches, getting kicked out of churches, debating pastors and preachers and all that good shit. And I ain't never lost no debate to no preacher about religion. So that's not an egotistical thing. This is just saying I have the experience to speak on it. Religion is false. Religion is false. Religion is false. The characters are false. You have to understand that the characters are representations of different principles that people individually, collectively, need to learn for self to build self. If you don't know how to read, then you will stay oblivious. But once you learn how to be literate, if you will, I guess, then you will be able to just pick the information, the proper information out of the for example, the Bible or the Quran. Now, does that mean me saying that the Bible is in fact full of knowledge? No. I'm saying there is hidden knowledge, worded differently, in hidden language, if you will, in all of these religious aspects, because once again, their source is African science, spirituality. So they based their story off of this original text. So you can still find the essence, if you will, within these Bibles and Qurans and things. You just have to be able to read. Not just, I can read a book, but you have to actually know what is being said in the encryptic way it's being said. You know what I'm saying? So I'd have to once again say religion is a piece of shit. The structure of religion is a piece of shit. The concept is kind of straight, but not really, because we're still dealing with people who may not know how to read. So understanding that, we have to say, okay, this thing called religion has nothing but fantasy surrounding it with sprinkled hidden knowledge. Why so difficult? Why can't I get the blueprint for the knowledge and build myself from that instead of having to go through loopholes to find knowledge within a book? Why isn't it just there and let me study and build it from there? But it's not like that. It's hidden. It is very hidden. If you want to know that hidden knowledge without having to go through loopholes, you want to look at things like the Book of the Dead. You want to look at shit like that. You want to look into, mainly, you want to look into things like Ma'at, M-A-A-T, Ma'at. You want to look into significant cultures that practiced a matriarchal system. You want to look into those type of things because things were so much more in harmony, for lack of a better statement. Things were in much more better harmony when we lived under a matriarch, because we understood, as well as our women understood, their significance in the balance of everything, nature-wise, universally-wise, and individual-wise. When we look into most religion, and I use most because, you know, I haven't studied every single religion that exists, but for the most part, when we deal with religion, we're dealing with a patriarch. And this is reflective of the European mind and the European perspective. Europeans are more so out of harmony biologically as well. But if you look at the origins and the history of the pale-skinned person or white-skinned person, whatever floats your boat, really, I don't care. You see that they come from a long history of disharmony, violence, all for power. Now, what that's reflected in religion is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. How can you be a father without a mother? How can you have a child without the womb? And then they give you some old bullshit about how he was presented to the world through immaculate conception. All this corny, dumb shit. It's just dumb shit, pretty much. And it doesn't matter what religion, you know. But it's usually a patriarch. That's a trademark of the European person. And I'll say man, and that includes the woman, just man in general, the pale-skinned person, if you will. So we have to understand that all of these religions originate from black science. And I use that term loosely, obviously. But it all originates, all of it. Not just mine, not just your religion, but all religions have their roots, you know, the start, the science came from the origin, right? And all of this comes from African science or African spirituality. So if you're a religious person, and most religion and religious people that I've run across throughout my 30 years on this planet, don't really dig into the spiritual. I didn't say they didn't completely. I said they don't really dig into the spirituality. It's more so of a taboo. And so is astrology and shit like that. Well, see, that's the thing. This is another reason religion is bad. Because if the roots are in fact African-centered, and those high sciences is what you decided to take and plagiarize, why leave out the important shit too? You're already not given the respect due and referencing where you get your religion from, but then you're leaving parts of the whole aspect of what you deem religion. You're leaving that out of it. Why is that? Because once you study astrology and once you study origins and shit like this, you'll start picking apart religion. You'll start seeing the holes in it. So if they don't present it in the first place, you won't go looking for it. Therefore, you'll stay in a state of ignorance by definition. So what's again, the structure of religion is a piece of shit. Okay? The concept, I know that the concept originates in Africa, and I know the sciences of those ancient teachings. So I know that they're 135,000% beneficial and necessary. So the concept of religion is kind of okay because I understand that aspect of the concept. But then on the other side, I got to look at what's being used for, and it's a piece of shit. So it's kind of good. That's why I say it's kind of good. It's if you know better, it's fine. If you don't know better, it's damaging. Now, family, like I said, I'm not attacking anybody personally. Do not take offense personally. If you do take offense personally, it's because your ego is ruling and not you. This is a build on religion, not the people, not a specific person, none of that. Start to think, listen, and speak objectively. It's very important we learn how to do so. It helps build understanding. Now, me personally, I was never forced into religion by my family. I was never just volunteered to go to church by my family. I've never been in that uncomfortable position. So maybe I was lucky in that sense. I did go to church. I've been to church and Sundays. I've done that shit too. But I was going for the ladies. I ain't gonna lie to you. But anyway, religion as it stands today, as it looks to me, let's talk about today, right? I've spoken with regular people, right? White folks, couple Arabs, one or two Mexicans, and no Asians or nothing, but white folks, black folks, Mexicans, Arabs, right? And I've asked them, y'all still go to church? Just a regular conversation. I'm just making a point right here. And most of the people all the people I asked that shit to in conversations, they don't go to church anymore. They don't do that shit anymore. But they'll still claim Christians or whatever the fuck they are. But they don't go and participate anymore. That just goes to show the power of religion. Remember, religion means to be bound. That's the power of religion. It's like being in a relationship with a partner that their sex game is amazing. They know how to have sex. They know how to fuck. Excuse my language, but this is grown ass talk. And then when you leave them, the next partner got to compare to that. So it's like you left it, but you still follow it. It's still deeply embedded in you. I mean, I understand. It's been such a part of your reality. It's a part of you. It's a part of your reality that it's kind of never come across your reality or you to even look in a different direction or look in a different perspective. It's a hypnosis. We are under that spell. You understand? And so one of my main points to make today is that religion is a piece of shit. But if you want to subscribe to something to believe in the origins, the root, go to what you're ultimately doing anyway, which is go back to the African spirituality. And I know as a pale-skinned person, white person, European, whatever you want to be called, I don't give a goddamn. It's up to the people. Anyway, I understand as a white person, or I can understand as a white person, how odd it must be to essentially praise black deities, if you will, just to get the understanding. I can understand the oddness to that, or for any culture of people to do this and essentially praise the African spirituality system and practice that, because it's not of your culture, but In all actuality, it really is. Because we have to understand that all the sciences of the world that we use today, all the structures and systems that we use today, all the architecture everything that we use today has been taken, revised from the black man and woman of the planet, the original people of the planet. There's certain references that I can give to just give you an idea of that. For instance, when it comes to the medical industry, doctors and such, the tools they use, you can find the original tools in Africa. You look into Imhotep. Just look into Imhotep. You don't have to specifically. He's not the only ancestor that used these tools, of course, we know. But essentially, you can say that he's the originator. Or, if you will, to be more correct, you could say that this is proof, amongst plenty other things, that's even European scientists agree with, and just in general, it's a fact, pretty much. I can't find the word I'm looking for, but just for that example, the surgeon and all his tools, those didn't just come out of nowhere. Those came from Africa. When you look at the first Christ, you're looking at Akhenaten or Imhotep. You can use either or. Those are African or black people. And there were plenty Christs before Jesus the Christ, which was a given title, not name, title. But that's when we get into the origins of things, And that's for the listener, you, to study into, A lot of there's a lot of cases of people who become very conflicted because of their religion and their religious beliefs and the perspectives and aspects, the perspective that it holds on their reality. And there's a lot of cases of people doing extreme things over religion. A lot of cases. The taking of this landmass called America, for instance. The ransacking of the motherland called Africa. And that's a given name that's later on. You see, once again. So religion is a piece of shit. The structure is a piece of shit. The foundation is amazing, though. The origin, the root, the blueprint, whatever gets through to your head, whatever is easier to process, that's fine. But you understand what I'm saying, family. That's beautiful. That's essentially what you're practicing anyway. They just gave it a different name and a different storyline. That's it. And that's a literal fact. So we just gotta understand the origin. If you want to practice, check this out. While I'm thinking about it, and it's crossed my mind. It's just a random thought. This wasn't planned or anything. But Christianity, you pray to Jesus or God or whatever the fuck y'all do. That's y'all shit. And then you end the prayer with Amen. I've heard, I believe it was Jews or Hebrews, one of the two. They say Amen. Same thing. Amen. Who do you think Amen is? Have you ever just thought about that? It's African or black, both terms being used loosely. White being used loosely. All those terms were used loosely. That's a black deity. That is a black man. Well, a black deity. So even for the most part, or majority wise, dominated white religion, Christianity. They still send their prayers to Amen. Because when you end your prayer, you end it with Amen. So it be. So be it. Whatever. You're sending that prayer. You're sending that energy, whatever, float your boat, to a black deity. So family, this is not an attack on a person. I didn't pull out the notebook. I didn't need the notebook to give you dates. But if you got questions or anything, leave them in the comments. I'll do something about it. I'll answer that. But the reason that the previous video got taken down is because of a couple reasons. Well, first reason is I didn't like how it sounded. My guest was very nervous, very camera shy. So the quality of sound was very poor for me. And secondly, he wasn't, I don't know, I think he just wasn't ready. So I took it down to be fair and give him a second opportunity. But I do want to apologize for that. I am going to have more guests on the show, if you will. Different perspectives, different topics. So just keep rocking with me. And I'm still waiting on my backdrop. As soon as that comes, we're going to do a video on that too. And we're going to preview it. We're going to see what it looked like when I jump back on the tube. You feel me? But, family, this wasn't to attack anybody personally or make anybody upset. Well, I'm not really worried about it. If you're upset, that's good. I struck a nerve. Maybe you'll check into it. But this wasn't to attack anybody or attack anybody personally for having this a specific religion. I was just trying to shed light on what we're actually doing, what is really going on, the effects, the important shit that we don't talk about because religion and politics and sex is usually taboo. I don't believe in taboo. We need to get past that bullshit. Religion is a piece of shit. I'll say it again. And I'm always going to say that. That's never going to change. My stance ain't never going to change. I don't care if I'm talking to an elderly woman, man, younger person, anybody. Fuck religion. It makes no sense. But it makes all the sense as to why it's being used. If you want to practice what you believe to be religion, I'll say again, just practice African spirituality. Why? Because that's what you're essentially doing anyway. Doesn't matter which religion you want to talk about. It doesn't matter what you want to say about it. It does not matter. I can show you what it is for real. I can prove what it is for real. And it is essentially African spirituality. So family, this is all love. This is all in a peaceful and a positive way, and from a peaceful and positive perspective. I do not wish to disrespect you. I only wish to shed light on something very important. Something that has a hold of a lot of people's minds and spirits and energies. And we have to be very aware of the dangers of doing these things and following behind certain reality creators and ego builders. So that's what I wanted to do. I understand what religion is, and I've had years of experience in the battlefield of religion, right? It is no good. If you want to believe in something, believe in yourself. If you want to know something, know yourself. And if you want to practice religion, practice the foundational principles of it. And to do that, you have to practice African spirituality. It does not matter what culture of people, what time of history. It does not matter. I will show you, or you can just study, and you will see that it is, in fact, African spirituality. Through years, it has been converted, twisted, turned, plagiarized, all those things. Other characters came in, and different perspectives and concepts come, and all these things. When you look into Ma'at and you remember the 10 Commandments, you will see that. I'm leaving all this up to you. I'm telling you what it is. It's up to you to prove me wrong and prove yourself right. If you believe in a religion. Much love, family. I do appreciate you taking the time out to listen to me. You didn't have to. Thank you. I appreciate you hitting that like. I would appreciate it if you did hit that like. I do this for y'all. And it's always going to be something different, something random, something out the blue. Because reality always changes. Every night is, a reset. Every morning is a restart. Every waking morning is a restart. So reality changes every second. So it's always going to be random shit. But I feel like this is very important. I feel like that when it comes to religion, we have to be very honest about it. With that being said, y'all, continue to have a good day. I know I didn't take up too much of your time. So continue to have a great day. All right? Peace when we're together. Chaos when we're not. Pick up a book. Gain some knowledge. Spread some positivity. Have a great day. A great day. And if you're not, make it one. Because you have the power to. All right? Peace.